From losing to Alex Pereira in some intense matches to turning the game around and becoming the only person to ever defeat the champ in kickboxing, Kwamel Otani has some strong opinions about the UFC champ in an upcoming bout. And surprisingly enough, he's on Team Poatan. Now, if you haven't heard of Otani, don't worry. Most haven't in the world of mainstream MMA. But if he's known for one thing, that's for a third-round submission victory over someone the MMA knows very well now, Alex Pereira himself. He's the current UFC middleweight champion and will be defending his title soon against the very guy he took it from last year. Since that match between Pereira and Otani, they've followed two completely different paths. Poatan decided to focus on his kickboxing career, and he won belts in two divisions. Otani, on the other hand, stayed on the MMA track and did well. Last year, he expected Israel Adesanya to defeat Pereira, but now he expects and hopes for his former opponent to win. Well, that's a surprise. He explained that he thought Poatan would be good for the first 3 rounds, then the fight wouldn't favor him anymore and it'd get tougher for him. But Alex proved his strength to not just everyone in the world, but to Otani as well. Not only did he get stronger in the 4th round, but he also ended the fight in the 5th. So now he believes that Alex is his favorite and is cheering for him, and wants to remain the only man to beat him in MMA.
Look at this. So it is Adesanya who ends up on top, now maybe trying to get to the back of Pereira.
Alex has been gaining respect left and right since his victory last year. But his longtime friend Glover Teixeira had some important advice for him. Pereira has a long and exciting history with Israel when in combat. They had their first match in the MMA cage last year, which is how they got the hype they have now.
The takedown. Oh, Izzy gets his hook in.
Pereira staying composed, but gets dragged back.
Alex pulled off a stunning win and claimed the belt that Adesanya had held onto. All that with a 5th round TKO. Teixeira is Alex's coach and mentor. The recently retired former UFC light heavyweight champion is making sure that his student has his priorities straight. And he knows that the upcoming match won't be easy. I mean, let's be honest, Israel is a seasoned MMA fighter, while his opponent just joined MMA about 8 fights ago. And the latter already took a belt away from him with a devastating defeat.
Right back down to the ground, ground and pound by the champion. Big left hands.
Izzy's controlling that bottom wrist.
So Alex's coach said that execution has been the key focus of the training camp. He believes that only an exceptional performance can help Alex retain the title and belt, and that they've been working on mistakes from previous fights, like how Alex waited too long to pull the trigger. To defeat Izzy, who's super fast, he needs to be more on alert and focus on the opportunities that present themselves. I think he can definitely use his strength as a finisher and take the belt back home. No doubt that the guy hits hard with a ton of pressure, and he doesn't hold back anything. He isn't irrational enough to try and finish the fight in the 1st round, but he will remain careful and focused. At least, that's what his coach thinks. But what happens if Alex does win? I don't think that's an easy prediction to make, but it isn't that hard either. Alex has a bright and dominating future ahead of him, that's for sure. I mean, this guy's already done brilliantly in kickboxing and joined MMA recently to win over a division. If you think about it, Israel has had close to 30 fights in this sport and he lost to a newbie. Alex is not a force to be reckoned with. The undefeated boxing sensation Ryan Garcia doesn't want to be near this man because of how brutal and scary he is in fights. So trust me when I say that the MMA world has a new threat. Garcia has never seen someone throw a hook like him, and finds Alex scary by calling him a destroyer and a terminator. If he wins his upcoming bout, he has a bright future waiting for him. His coach said that Alex could fight in any division since he's big, and eventually they'll want to go down that road. Competing across 3 weight classes won't be a problem for Poatan. The weight cut is tough for him because of how huge he is, but he does it without complaint and does it well. He drops to 185 right now, but can surely go for 205 or more. Many think that Israel might be able to clutch a win. But if he couldn't before, what makes you think he can now? When I say before, I'm not talking about their fight last year, I'm talking about all of their matchups. UFC is the sport of rivals. But these two are a different breed, literally. They were rivals in a completely different combat sport, kickboxing. The roots of the tension between them go all the way back to it. At the Glory of Heroes event, they both faced each other for the first time. The Brazilian won by decision. In their rematch and their second time meeting each other, Alex was a kickboxing middleweight champion, and Israel was the #1 contender for it. The rematch was the opportunity the last stylebender had to avenge his loss, but he ended up knocked down by a devastating left hook in the final round. Once again, Alex had bested his rival. Then they met for the third time at UFC 281. Izzy's second loss marked the end of his kickboxing career. It forced him to transition to MMA. He did well and got the UFC middleweight championship title, but his rival rose once again to steal it from him. Another knockout and Izzy's career hangs in the balance, but he isn't about to give up anytime soon. Despite 3 constant losses, the last stylebender hasn't given up. Fans are starting to call his matches boring and predictable. They're not interested anymore in the same sequence of fights, and this guy does not take a hint. He stated that he'll continue to fight Alex until he defeats him. Thankfully, he performed well at UFC 281, so it worked out in his favor of demanding a rematch. And frankly, he has nothing to lose anymore. Alex has taken away too many things from him at this point, including his title and reputation in the UFC. This might not work so well for Alex. People who have nothing to lose are dangerous and more carefree. Fans are desperate to watch the match, because after this, Izzy might just have to retire. And fellow fighters have made their predictions clear. Like Garcia, many others think Alex is an unstoppable and powerful force. And well, they're not wrong. John Jones revealed his bias, saying that Alex definitely has some magic over Israel. Jones thinks Alex works hard and has enough to take another victory home, so he's rooting for him. Then Marvin Vettori gave his take too. He thinks the Brazilian will beat him again, and he thinks he'll get to fight Adesanya after their fight. Forgetting professionals, the fans are in an uproar. Alex is training with the UFC legend Chuck Liddell. He looked pretty tough and ready to fight not one but 2 bears at once. But when I talk about his looks, I've got to mention the way he's gone the extra mile with his appearance. Poatan now sports a goatee with a mohawk, much like his new sparring partner. And I have to say, it's a striking look. Fans also took the liberty of calling him Alex Liddell Pereira. One person said that he looks even scarier, almost as if he could kill you. Another fan said that he's Izzy's worst nightmare. I'm not sure how much of an effect this will have on Israel, but if I was facing this guy, I'd turn the other way and run. That's all there is to how the only man to defeat Pereira wants him to win the Israel Adesanya rematch.